Hello everyone. Welcome back to Changeling. I've decided to give this one a second shot because, again, I really want to know what's going on with the fairies. And even if it means I have to watch Nora get bullied for probably 15 minutes when she goes to school, I will do it to find out what's going on in this game. So let's go. We're just gonna jump right in. Chapter 2, Stone Circle Academy. I don't know what common route means. I imagine there's separate routes you can go. Should probably fucking save this game too, by the way, because I haven't, like... Save? Yeah, see? That would have been real bad. I did quick save, like, 20 minutes ago. I'm so bad about saving in visual novels, because, like... I don't know, for some reason, I just forget, because you get sucked in and you're like just reading for a while, and then you go to make a decision and it doesn't let you save anymore, and you're like, oh, shit. I'll have to redo so much shit if I fuck this up. So, maybe that's another reason why I don't like visual novels, is because I'm bad about remembering to save games. That's silly. I'm gonna move on. I don't see them anywhere. They were on the counter last night. Where are they? How the heck should I know? You never let me drive, so I don't keep up with the car keys. You two are gonna be late for your first day if you don't find them soon. It's not my fault. Spencer was scouring the house looking for car keys that he'd insisted he left on the counter. I was rinsing the breakfast dishes, and Mom was supervising. Spencer let out an exasperated groan from near the door where he was hunting around for the keys. Where's my other shoe? Oh my god, I don't know. I don't keep up with your stuff. I finished the dishes and wiped my hands, grabbing my book bag as I headed to the front door to see if Spencer had left the keys there instead. I'm late if I'm late because of you. We won't be late if you just help me find the keys. I wouldn't have to help you find them if you just keep up with your stuff. I stalked to the front to check the little shelf by the cabinet there. No keys. I don't know why I would open the cabinet to check inside, but when I pulled the door open, I was confronted by Spencer's worn-out tennis shoe. I blinked at it in surprise. What? I snatched it out of the kitchen and stalked back to snatched it out of the cabinet and stalked back to the kitchen. I could only imagine that my sleep-deprived mom had put it in there while doing the last of the unpacking. I wondered if Spencer had checked the fridge for the keys yet. At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where they were. I found your stupid shoe. Spencer looked up from where he was rummaging through kitchen drawers for the keys. I tossed him the shoe, and as it somersaulted through the air to him, something flew out and hit the floor with a decidedly metallic sound. We both looked down in surprise. The car keys were sprawled carelessly out on the kitchen floor. What were the keys doing in his shoe? Spencer immediately glared at me. Don't look at me, I didn't put them there. Where did you find this? In the cabinet by the front door? I could tell exactly what he was thinking, but I just shrugged. Sorry, it wasn't me. I don't know why your shoe was there, but I'm not in the mood to hear you blame me for it. He just scoffed as he set the shoe down and shoved his foot in it. He snatched the keys off the floor. Dude, fairies did this. Fairies, show me the fairies! Yeah, right. Mom hurried back into the kitchen. We found them. Someone put them in the front cabinet. I don't know. Don't ask me. Oh, I know. Don't ask me. Maybe Dad did it. Whatever. Someone probably just wasn't paying attention. You two need to leave now. You still have time. You still have to stop and check in at the office before class. Practically shoved us both through the door. And thus came the quiet, uncomfortable drive to school. Yay. Spencer was driving our shared car, and I was sitting quietly in the passenger seat because fighting over who got to drive just wasn't worth it. I hated riding with him, though, but I had no choice on that point. I was hoping after catching up with a couple of old friends, I might be able to start bumping a ride with one of them. In the meantime, though, so looking forward to your first day? We might not get along, but I hated awkward silences almost as much as fighting. It should not have been this painful to ride in a car with my brother for 10 minutes. Yes. Typical Spencer response. Curt, cryptic, utterly useless for conversation. Then why are you trying? Just be quiet. I take that as a no? Depends how many classes I have with you. Ugh, really? Can we not start the day like this? It's already started. Y'all were already fighting. Then can you not talk to me? Yeah, see? When will you learn, Nora? He doesn't like you. He doesn't want to spend time with you. He doesn't want to talk to you. He just wants to be quiet and away from you. Leave him alone. Just fucking leave him alone. I don't understand. You don't like him as much as he doesn't like you, so just leave him alone. I bit my lip and stared out the window. It would have been nice if we could have, I don't know, supported each other or something, like actual siblings. Girl. No, let me tell you something. Especially when you're 17? No. That doesn't exist. Ignore him. Yes. No, we're not bothering Spencer. I have like -1 interest in this kid. He was always like this. I should have been used to it by now. Yeah, you should have. It's been 5 fucking years. Leave him alone. Trying to talk to him never did any good. Over the years, I've learned that the easiest way to avoid an argument with him was just to pretend he didn't exist. And why? Then why? I stared out the window, watching the trees pass. I hated this. A few minutes later, we were pulling into the school parking lot. As soon as we found a space, Spencer jumped out and went straight inside. I grabbed my stuff and slammed the door, pausing to take a deep breath. I was not letting him ruin my day. Or I'd try not to, anyway. By the time I got inside, he was already walking out of the office with his schedule in hand. He didn't even look at me. I guess that was his way of letting me know I was on my own today. Not that I expected anything else. It didn't take long to get my own schedule printed. As I left the office, still looking it over, I heard a long, familiar squeal heading my way. I couldn't keep the grin off my face when I saw Allie Fisher, the one person I'd kept in touch with the last 5 years, barreling towards me. She looks exactly the same. This is the same girl, just with different color hair. Okay, she's got like a slightly different part. Same color eyes. Fucking same mouth. Her nose is different, but that's it. This is the same girl. Nora. I just saw Spencer. Dang, he's pretty. I didn't think he'd get so tall. Ew. That's the first thing you're gonna say to me when we finally see each other again? Also, that's not tall. You'd tower over him with a good set of heels. Oh, come on. He's not my brother. I'm allowed to admire him. She grinned and grabbed my arm, pulling me away from the office and down the hall. Also, Spencer's not cute. You're gross, and your crush on him is super weird. Nope, like I said, I'm allowed. Allie, trust me on this. You can do it. When I say this, you can do better. No, I don't think so. In fact, I'm thinking later today I need to catch up with Spencer a bit. I say again, you. She just laughed at my discomfort. I couldn't keep the smile off my face as we walked together. We'd kept in touch, but this was my first time actually seeing her in a long time. So, how's the unpacking going? I was going to call this weekend, but I figured you'd be busy. We are nearly done. Mom's been a total slave driver. It's kind of scary. I remember how she is. I actually thought about coming over to help, but, well, then I remembered how she is. You're the worst friend. Nah, I'm a great friend. I'm super glad you're back. This is gonna be a great year. I'm glad to be back too. Though, before anything else, I do have to warn you about... I heard you were back in town. That voice. Here it comes. Here's the bullying. You ready? I shot Allie a look, and she gave me an apologetic smile in return. So, this was what she was trying to warn me about. Kara. Why? What is this girl wearing? Why does she look like this? My other friend from Pine Hollow. Hope you managed to stick around for the full year. Wouldn't want you to end up getting lost again as soon as you get back in town. Dude, look. Why? She's not your friend. Well, there goes the idea that people have forgotten about that. Oh, I don't intend to get lost anywhere. If you want to, though, I can definitely give you directions. From beside me, Allie snickered quietly, but said nothing. I really couldn't believe Kara was still bitter over that incident. I got that my last disappearance had disrupted her little concert that she and her mother always had. And that she and her mother had always had such big aspirations regarding her musical career. But it's not like I'd ruined things on purpose, and I hadn't exactly asked everyone to ditch the concert and join the manhunt for me. I knew it had to have sucked, but I had apologized, and I was getting tired of apologizing for something I couldn't even fully remember. Anyway, they're pretty strict on attendance these days. Teachers aren't too keen on people who just take off for attention whenever they want, so you might want to be careful. No one is going to believe the convenient amnesia either, not this time. She walked past with a glare aimed my way. I let out a long sigh. Well then, what a thing to come back to. My family had moved away before we'd had the chance to work things out. Maybe I should have tried to mend fences with her before we got back. To be fair, I hadn't expected her to still be mad. As it was, that was just another thing to feel guilty for. At the very least, I was sorry that her relationship with Allie soured just because of me as well. They clearly weren't exactly buddies anymore either. Sorry about that. I was just getting around to warning you about her. She's been cranky ever since she heard you were moving back. Allie pulled me down the hall in the opposite direction of Kara. Don't apologize. Can't believe she's mad. I can. Normal people don't get mad about things like that. Barely, I'm not normal people. Well, you know, she thinks I was trying to mess things up for her intentionally because I was jealous, or whatever. That's ridiculous. Maybe. But she wasn't the only one. Half the town thought it was some crime for intention, remember? Oh, whatever. Anyone who knew you at the time should have known better. That includes Kara. That's when Spencer started hating me too, so maybe they know something I don't. Yeah, you're some fucking weird-ass changeling. I gave her a tired smile. Come on, perk up. You can't look all grumpy on your first day. I know. So, what's your first class? Literature, Mrs. Roberts. Same. I was relieved. Being around someone who actually wanted me there might make my morning suck a little less. You'll love her, come on. She dragged me the rest of the way to class. I immediately scanned for certain unfriendly faces, but was relieved that neither Spencer nor Kara was anywhere to be seen. I did see some other familiar faces, though. Oh, it's Danny and Elliot. Of course it is. They were sitting on the far side of the room, surrounded by a group of friends who seemed to be taking great pleasure in prodding Elliot awake every time he nodded off. Is this dude's only character trait that he's emo and he sleeps a lot? Yeah. He's definitely not a morning person. Elliot's purple hair and black clothes stuck out like a sore thumb among Danny and the rest of the clean-cut, sporty guys. I get the feeling Danny was the main reason he was in that group. Unlike Elliot, who looked out of place, Danny fit in perfectly. I couldn't help but wonder how those two had become friends. They were so different. They're so different. One likes sports and the other one has purple hair. Oh my god, you can be an Omega teacher's pet. No, we're gonna go talk to Elliot. He's got sharp teeth too? What the fuck? Why does everyone have sharp teeth? Elliot was definitely struggling to stay awake. His head tipped forward, and he suddenly jerked it back up, sitting up straighter. The rest of the group laughed and prodded him. He said something back at them and looked around as he let out another tongue-curling yawn. Amused, I managed to catch his eye and give him a tiny wave from the doorway. His face brightened significantly. The sleepiness suddenly vanished as he waved back enthusiastically. It definitely gave me a bit of a boost to have someone other than Allie to look pleased to see me. Elliot motioned me over to their group, but I had barely taken one step before Allie started pulling me towards the front of the room. Come on, I'll introduce you really fast. Having been commandeered, I shot Elliot an apologetic smile. He waved again and looked a little forlorn as I was taken away to talk to Mrs. Roberts. Okay, we have to be the teacher's pet? We have to? Because Allie has deemed it so? I mouthed sorry to him and hoped we'd be able to catch up later. Allie introduced me to Mrs. Roberts, who gave me a quick rundown of what the class was studying at the moment. Why do I care? Oh, of course, we're reading A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Okay. I'd read it last year, actually, so catching up wouldn't be that difficult. We have an empty seat at the front of the class and several at the back. You may take your pick. She shot me a friendly smile that made me feel quite at ease. I suspected that I'd like her. And welcome back to Stone Circle, Miss Cat. Thanks, I'm really glad to be back. Unfortunately, none of the seating options were near people I knew, which was a little disappointing. It looks like she has everyone paired up for group work. Yeah, tracks. The seat up front was next to a sort of grumpy-looking, well-dressed blonde. He didn't seem extremely friendly. He's got pointy ears. Is everyone in this fucking town a fairy? Is that what the sharp teeth mean? And this guy's got pointy ears? There's also two empty sets of paired desks at the back, and one open seat next to a gloomy boy with messy brown hair. He didn't even look up as Mrs. Roberts explained my choices. Oh, we get to choose which cute boy. Oh boy. The only other seat was on the second last row by the window. It was tempting, to be honest, but I should probably take a seat that at least gives me a reading partner. But both options looked so much fun. Oh god. Let's go sit by pointy-eared kid. I didn't want to make a terrible impression on Mrs. Roberts, especially considering literature was one of my favorite subjects. Yeah, of course it is. I opted for the seat in the front and just hoped the blonde wasn't as cranky as he looked. I smiled a little nervously as I slid into the chair next to him. His eyes swept over me, lingering for just a few seconds on my face before he looked away. He didn't say anything or introduce himself. Friendly. Today we'll be continuing our reading of A Midsummer's Night's Dream with your partners. Mark, if you would be so good as to share your book with Nora today. I heard an almost inaudible sigh from the boy next to me. To his credit, he tried for a gracious smile. He got an A for effort, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. I sighed inwardly. This guy's name is Mark. Maybe I should have just taken the seat at the back. Ah, dude. This boy's much cuter, and he's got pointy ears, so... He was clearly rather put out at having to deal with me, but it was too late to pick up and move now. I just have to make the best of it. You're fine. You deal with your brother all the time. Stop being a baby. Mark pushed his playbook between us and turned his chair slightly towards mine. I hope you don't mind sharing with me for today. Yeah, this boy seems nice. He sounded slightly less annoyed than he looked. I was hoping that was a good sign. I don't mind. Mrs. Roberts will likely have your reading material ready for you by tomorrow. It's not a problem. I studied this play last year, so I think I'll still remember a good bit of it. Besides that, it was in my selection of Shakespearean works, and I'd read it multiple times. I see. I have some trouble retaining Shakespeare and pinning down the larger themes in his works, so perhaps you'd be willing to help me with that. Since we started this unit, my scores haven't been as good as they could be. Oh, no problem. I love Shakespeare, so I'm really familiar with his style and all. I don't mind helping. Maybe I was wrong about him being cranky. He seems nicer than I expected. Yeah, maybe don't be such a bitch all the time, judging people by how they look. I see. In that case, I'll be looking forward to your expert opinions as we read. Something about the way he said that made it sound more like sarcasm. I chose not to respond, at least for now. No reason to make a bad impression on the first day. I nervously tucked hair behind my ear and leaned closer to look at the book. Even if he's being sarcastic, he's not going to find a better study partner than me, so there. As I leaned towards him, I couldn't help but notice the expensive-looking watch on his left wrist. This kid's obviously got money, Nora. Why are you surprised? Not to mention his clothes, and actually everything he wore sort of reeked of money. There was nothing wrong with that, but now that I was leaning so close to him, I realized money apparently reeked like really, really nice cologne. You know, the kind that made you want to bury your face in someone's neck and just melt into them? Yeah. I tried not to let it distract me. She's so fucking horny, dude. All the time she's horny. Yeah, Jesus! She genuinely was horny. I was joking, but down, girl. You're not gonna make a good impression on anyone if you start sniffing people on their first day. I had no idea how I was going to focus on reading when sitting next to him was apparently going to be constantly heavenly assault on my olfactory sense, because it was hard not to pay attention to the cologne, at least from this distance. Mark was definitely from a wealthy family. He wouldn't be the only one at the academy, that was for sure. But most didn't wear their wealth so obviously. Then again, he probably didn't think he was being obvious about it or anything. I cleared my throat awkwardly. So, where did you leave off reading last time? It was just beginning Act 3. Then we'll just pick up there. Oh no, I missed one. How do you go back? Oh. Naturally. Come to think of it, I had to wonder why he was sitting alone if he had so much trouble with this subject, especially when there was another person in the class with no partner. Maybe Mark's original partner moved or something? As I shifted to look at the far page of my text, my elbow brushed against Mark's arm. I had barely touched him, but he jumped slightly and jerked himself away, moving his arm awkwardly across the desk as if to get it completely out of my airspace. Sorry? What is that about? When I glanced up at him, his brows were knit together, eyes practically boring a hole in the book. God, this is some fucking Twilight shit, dude. It's alright. His tone was terse, and he didn't look up when he spoke. I raised an eyebrow as I studied him. Sure, some people weren't keen on physical contact, but that had been a little dramatic. You fucking touched him. He didn't want you to touch him, and you touched him. What is this visual novel and people touching each other without permission? Stop touching people! Alrighty then, moving on, I guess. So, this is where Bottom and the others are rehearsing, right? Mark nodded but said nothing else. Man of few words, I see. For the next 45 minutes, we took turns reading. He stumbled over the lines, frowning intensely at the playbook the entire time. He'd said he'd be looking forward to my expert opinions, but he didn't exactly give a chance for me to share them. He wasn't really unfriendly, but he was definitely keeping his distance. Literally. Don't fucking touch him. What? Why are you so butthurt by the fact that he doesn't want you to touch him? Just don't fucking touch people. From the moment I touched his arm, he did his best to stay well out of my personal space. Or keep me out of his, maybe. Awkwardly so, actually. It was to the point of him noticeably leaning away from me while we read. So sorry I offended you, Your Highness. I take back what I thought about your heavenly cologne. So there. Oh my god. Stop being offended that someone doesn't want you touching them. The bell eventually rang, eliciting a sigh of relief from us both. Mark immediately stood and slid his books into a leather satchel. He nodded stiffly and headed out of the class. I forgot to save again. I'm saving now. I watched him go, was curious about what his deal was. His deal was that you fucking touched him, and he didn't want you to touch him. That's his only deal. There's no other deals. He was standoffish and acted like I'd nearly burned his flesh off just by brushing his arm. Mysterious. Was he shy? Did he just not like commoners like myself? Maybe I smell weird to him. I resisted the urge to sniff my sleeve just to be sure. Jesus Christ. Well, whatever. It was just one guy in one class. He could be as unsocial as he wanted. I checked my class schedule and groaned as I realized trigonometry was next. Dude, trig is like the easiest math, girl. If you're struggling with trig, you're gonna have a problem. I'd have to ask Allie about Mark later. Knowing her, she'd probably have tons of juicy details to share. I was pretty sure trigonometry was on the same floor as literature, but it had been several years since I was last here, and I'd never actually come to the high school wing. I wasn't entirely sure where I was going. Why is it so crowded? There's no one here. I was jostled across the hall by the crowd, trying to aim for a nearly empty spot by an open door. I reached it at the same time as a pale-haired girl in a blue coat. We nearly ran into each other, but she caught me by the shoulders, preventing an embarrassing collision. Don't fucking touch people. This girl's pretty cute. Careful. Wait, that voice? That's a guy? Oh. This game is so fucking hetero, I swear to God. I stared up at him somewhat in awe. He was so pretty. How could a guy be that pretty? Jesus. He smiled down at me. Are you okay? I didn't mean to nearly crash into you. Yeah, sorry. I'm okay. I quickly straightened and tried to get my bearings. I don't remember it being this... Watch it! Someone very nearly sheared off my nose with his backpack. I don't even think they heard me shout. Is it always this crowded between classes? Jeez. Hey, can I ask you where... Wish me luck. Before I could finish, the boy bounded away from the wall and... Oh no! I squeezed my eyes shut as he nearly bowled over two brunettes twice his size. I expected him to bounce off and go sprawling, but he somehow managed to dodge and bowl over someone smaller than him instead. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I watched him fuss over the girl for a few seconds before hurrying off down the hall, squeezing his way through the crowd. He seemed pretty popular. Everyone waved and called to him as he bounced through. It didn't take long to learn his name was Corbin, if only because people kept shouting it as they said hello. That's an unusual name. Your name's Nora. Alright. As I got ready to brave the tide of students myself, I noticed a book had fallen in the middle of the hallway, right where Corbin had run into that girl. Oh no, it's the meet cute, dude. He dropped a book. Oh shoot, did he drop that? No one else appeared to have noticed it there. I hesitated for a moment. I didn't want to just leave it, but I was really doubtful of my ability to get across the hall and pick something up off the floor without getting steamrolled by the crowd. And I was going to be late if I waited until the hall cleared to get it. Still, it was going to get damaged if I just left it in the middle of the floor. I should probably either return it to Corbin or get it to the office. I decided to wait until the hall cleared a little before attempting to retrieve the book. It's not like the world would end if I was a little tardy for one class. Besides, it was trigonometry. Not like I was eager to go there anyway. I winced as an unwary student kicked the book around a corner at the end of the lockers. Why are these kids so fucking shitty, dude? Just pick the fucking book up. Who are these kids? You think you're special because you go to a private school? Fucking pick a book up off the floor. Don't just kick it around, you shitbrains. I wasn't going to be ruined just from that, but still. I should probably go get it before someone does ruin it somehow. Fortunately, with the passing period half over, and the crowd was With the passing period half over, the crowd was thinning out pretty quickly. When it looked safe, I made a beeline for the book. I managed to avoid getting too banged up on the way over, but some big athletic type did accidentally whack me in the face with his backpack. He didn't even notice. I skittered over to the book and nudged it with my toe. What the heck is with this creepy thing? What the fuck? Oh my god. I've been down to pick it up. Seriously wondering about this Corvin guy's taste in reading material. Yeah, no shit. It's got a fucking, like, bat on the front. It's tied up with some... Jeez. Okay. I'm over it already. I need to blow my nose again. Guys, I'm dying. My allergies are killing me today. Alright. What kind of book even is this? Maybe some kind of fantasy novel? You should read it. I probably should have taken it straight to the office, but I was kind of curious about it. You know whose it is. Just give it back to the person whose it is. I was about to crack open the cover and flip through the pages when... Oh, that's mine. Startled, I looked to see Corvin standing there with a surprised look on his face. Oh, you came back. I saw you drop this earlier and I was going to return it, or just drop it by the office. For some reason, with the way he was looking at me, I felt like I had done something wrong. Well, if it was a weird diary or something. He still dropped it on the ground. He didn't really seem mad, but he was definitely eyeing me pretty intently. So you can see, you saw me drop it? Yeah, I think it was when you ran into that girl earlier. Oh yeah, that's probably right. I didn't realize I dropped it. Sorry to trouble you. Of course, it's an invisible book. Only fairies can see it. It's not a big deal or anything. Can I have it back now? Sure, sorry. He handed the book over and he shoved it into his backpack. I kind of wanted to ask about it because it looked really weird, but I just let it go. Anyways, thanks for the help. I'll definitely see you later. Oh, yeah. What's your name? Nora. I'm Nora. I'll remember that. I'll see you later. With that, he disappeared down the hall. What was that about? Nothing really. Someone just dropped a book. I see. And you, being Captain Bookworm, had to step in and return it. I fucking knew it, dude. I fucking knew this is Nora's some, like, not like other girls. I read books. Shit. God. I should have known the Shakespeare shit. I have classics on my bookshelf. Oh, whoops. Might as well save. I don't know, dude. I'm not ready. I don't know if I can play this game. I see, and you being Captain Bookworm had to step in and return it? Something like that. Captain Bookworm? I decided to let that one go. Why are you friends with this chick if she just fucking bullies you, dude? Anyway, can you help me get to Trig? I have no idea where I'm going. Your sense of direction still sucks. Come on. My next 2 classes were fairly boring, at least when it came to academic content. When it came to social interaction, though, it was definitely a different story. Why is this classroom set up the exact same way? With the sticky notes on the board and everything. First of all, Corvin was in trigonometry. He didn't seem to notice me at all, though. Not that I was surprised. I had definitely been right about him being popular. He was surrounded by others before class started. The crowd around Danny in literature was nothing compared to the amount of people vying for Corvin's attention. It was a little weird, actually. On top of that, he was a complete and total klutz. He dropped his pencil a dozen times, tripped over his own feet, and at one point somehow landed on another student's desk face first. What is this guy's fucking problem? What is happening? At most schools, he probably would have been the laughingstock, but not so much here. In fact, the other students sort of fawned over him every time he hurt himself. 3 different people offered to escort him to the nurse for an ice pack after he fell. Oh my god, dude, I can't. Oh god. Okay. He was kind of an airhead, but I guess he must have been really, really nice to have that many friends and admirers. It was probably cynical to think it might just be the way he hemorrhaged compliments. Corvin's antics aside, Spencer was in both trig and chemistry. I couldn't help but wonder how having 2 classes with me must have impacted how good a day he was having. As if watching him alternate between glaring and pretending I didn't exist was bad enough. Oh my, like, Spencer. Buddy, I know you need therapy, like, so fucking bad. Like, you needed therapy, like, 5 years ago. But, like, get a hold of yourself. Just live your life and pretend she doesn't exist. Stop, like, glaring at her out of the corner of your eyes and all that weird shit. Like, just live your life, brother. Kara was also in chemistry with us. Oh no. Oh no, the bully. The moment she saw me and gave me a smug little grin, I knew something was up. So I was a little apprehensive going into class. It was sad we hadn't managed to patch things up, but I was ultimately okay with her not liking me. I wasn't okay with her trying to pick fights and cause problems just for the sake of doing it, though. And it didn't take long to work out what she was up to. I hadn't even gotten to my desk when two people who introduced themselves as Luke and Emery practically set up camp nearby to pepper me with questions about the whole childhood disappearing act. I didn't remember either of them, so I didn't think they were students who were at school when it happened, and yet they'd definitely gotten a pretty detailed version of what had happened from somewhere. Damn it, Kara. So, do you really not remember what happened while you were missing? This is a girl, dude. They've got... Why is there no girls in this game? Why are all of the, like, interactable people always boys? I guess with Allie and Kara, but, like... How many boys do we have now? Danny? Elliot? Mark? These two? What's the klutz's name? Corvin? 6. 6 interactable boys. How many interactable girls? 2. Fucking hetero-ass game. So, do you really not remember what happened while you were missing? This is a game about fairies, y'all, and this is the straightest fucking visual novel I've ever played. Whatever. So, do you really not remember what happened to you while you were missing? I heard you were attacked by a bear or something. Someone said you were the only witness to a murder out there, but none of the other victims were ever found. Do you think you blocked it all out because of the trauma? Is it true the police questioned you guys because they thought you tried to kill each other? I shot Spencer a quick look at that one. Is that how you got injured or whatever? Spencer was gritting his teeth, glaring at me. Ugh, not good. I could practically see the red flashing light above his head declaring a level 7 nuclear event was imminent. Is there a way we can just not talk about this? Come on, we're just curious. These guys are fucking shitty. Get them out of my face. I sighed, trying to figure out a diplomatic way to tell them to shut the heck up before my brother had a meltdown. It was a really long time ago. We just got back into town and are trying to settle in. There isn't much to tell anyway, but I think we'd rather not talk about it all the same. Everyone, please take your seats. At the teacher's words, everyone reluctantly retreated, leaving Spencer and me alone. I was trying to look anywhere but at him. I honestly hadn't expected anyone to bring this stuff up again. My gaze fell on Kara, who was still giving me that same smile. Of course, if someone was intentionally trying to bring it all up again, it's no wonder people here were interested. Hang on, I'm gonna go back. I wanna see... Maybe this really is a girl. Their name is Emery. Hang on. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Emery really is a girl. Yeah, because, like, they never actually say... I'm sorry for complaining. I mean, it's still, like, 5-3, which is less bad, but... I do think Emery might be a girl. I don't know. Hard to say. She's pretty cute. She looks a lot like Gorgon, though. Alright, I think this is where I left off. Here, we'll leave and save. Maybe? Alright, everyone please take your seats. At the teacher's words, everyone reluctantly retreated, leaving Spencer and me alone. I was trying to look anywhere but at him. I honestly hadn't expected anyone to bring this stuff up again. My gaze fell on Kara, who was still giving me that same smile. Of course, if someone was intentionally trying to bring it all up again, then it was no wonder people were interested. I sighed, trying to stir up rumors using that, of all things, was literally the most pointless endeavor. Here's another thing. It's been 5 years since this happened. No one at this fucking school even remembers or gives a shit about this anymore. Like, I can't for the life of me remember any of the big scandalous things that happened when I was in middle school. And like, I get this as a kind of small town, but like in 5 years, more interesting stuff has happened. Plus, all of these kids are like, they were 12 at the time. I don't remember anything that fucking happened when I was 12. I don't buy it, okay? I don't buy that anyone except for Kara even remembers anything that happened. Fortunately, by the time class released, everyone seemed more interested in getting to the cafeteria before the lines got too long. Keep fucking doing it. Stop. Or maybe the average student's attention span wasn't long enough to remember that Spencer and I had an interesting backstory. Regardless, the class emptied quickly, which left me to find my way to the cafeteria alone. Fortunately, it didn't take me long. I just had to follow the smell of old hot dogs and sweaty feet. Allie was nowhere in sight, so I just grabbed a sandwich and found an empty spot to eat alone. Yay. I barely sat down when someone else plunked a tray of food down directly across from me. I looked up, hoping to see Allie, but instead saw the messy-haired boy from literature. Oh, what was his name again? Sorry, this is where I usually sit. They don't like it if I sit somewhere else. They? Yeah, what the fuck? What's going on? You mean your friends? Are they coming too? Should I move? He looked down at me with gentle brown eyes and a serious expression. No, no one else is coming. This guy's fucking weird, dude. Then who are the they you were referring to? I didn't ask that, though, and he just sat down quietly and started eating without looking at me. I studied him surreptitiously while trying to eat. He was a little disheveled and gloomy. He definitely seemed shy, or maybe just socially awkward. I wasn't sure which. He definitely wasn't much for talking, though. A heavy silence descended on us. I lamented silently about how much I hate awkward silences. So, I'm Nora. We had one class together, so it couldn't hurt to at least properly introduce myself, right? William. When he looked up, I was startled by the sad look on his face. It's good that you didn't sit by me in class. You shouldn't sit here tomorrow either. Oh my god, this is some fucking weird-ass emo shit. I don't know what's going on. Why would he even say something like that out of nowhere? I couldn't help but wonder if it was because of Kara stirring things up. Who knew what all she had been saying to people? How do I even respond to that? I just looked away, biting my lip to stop myself from saying something unnecessarily angry. I guess I won't. I sat silently for a few minutes before I stood abruptly and grabbed the tray with my sandwich. The music got all sad and everything too. This kid fucking sucks. I'm glad I didn't sit next to him. I'll take Mark over this kid. I wasn't sure why people were so intent on being jerks to me on my first day, but I wasn't really in the mood to put up with it anymore. But if I stayed, saying something unnecessarily angry was inevitable. I'm done. Bye. William jumped to his feet. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way, I just... With a sudden jolt, my lunch tray flipped out of my hands. Bread and sandwich guts went flying everywhere as it cartwheeled through the air before slamming into the floor and skidding about 10 feet. I stared after it in shock. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I'm sorry, you should stay away from me. This guy's a fucking loser. He picked up his things and fled the room, leaving me standing there gaping at the mess on the floor. He hadn't hit the tray, and I definitely hadn't thrown it. What just happened? The entire cafeteria was dead quiet. I could practically feel their eyes on me. Even Spencer was staring from across the room. Our eyes met, and it's not like I was expecting him to ask if I was okay or anything, but he just calmly went back to eating as if he didn't know me. I left the mess on the floor and ran out of the cafeteria, already so over the day. This is exactly what I thought was gonna happen, dude. Nothing was going the way I thought it would. The rest of my day was uneventful. Thank God, maybe we can get out of this chapter. I only had to talk about my incidents in, well, every single class, and it was the same battery of questions every time. Did I really lose my memory? What did I really see in the woods? Why did Spencer get questioned by the police? Did he really get attacked by an animal, or was it me? Did I see a murder? Was I abducted by aliens? I still couldn't believe someone actually asked me the last one, in a non-ironic way. I made a mental note to stay far, far away from that kid. It's fucking weird, dude. I would ask. I couldn't avoid talking about it every time. Some students were relentless. Eventually I just settled into the same rote answers. Yes, I really lost my memory. No, I don't know what I saw, but I was pretty sure it wasn't a murder. The police were trying to cover all their bases, but Spencer had nothing to do with it. He really was attacked by something, but it wasn't me. And as far as I was aware, no aliens were involved. But most people opted to leave me alone when they realized they weren't going to get any juicy details out of me, so otherwise there were no major problems. At any rate, no one else decided to be blatantly rude to me. What I really wanted to do was grab Allie and talk to her about what happened at lunch, but I didn't get a chance. I mean, she knew that guy better than I did. At the very least, she could tell me if it was just me or if they treated everyone that way. But we didn't have any afternoon classes together, and I hadn't seen her in the hall either. It was a little lonely, to be honest, especially since the day was such a mixed bag. I knew I'd settled in. I knew the rumors would die out no matter how much Kara or anyone else tried to stir them up. There was just nothing to really talk about anyway. I knew the first days were usually kind of rough, but I couldn't deny I'd been hoping for better. My head was pounding by the time I made my way to my locker and dumped the last of my newly assigned textbooks in it. I stood quietly for a moment, head leaning against the side as I geared myself up for the tense ride home. Hey, Dora. I turned hesitantly at the sound of my name, but sighed in relief when it was only Elliot, someone I doubted was going to pick a fight or interrogate me. I gave him a tired smile. Whoa, you okay? You look, kind of pale. Are you feeling sick? I'm fine. You sure? You're looking kind of anemic. Not anemic, just tired. It was a long day. Yeah, I heard, a lot of people were talking about you and your brother all day. Yeah, tell me about it. I slammed my locker door and hefted my book bag onto my shoulder. I also saw what happened at lunch. Yeah, about that. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not mad at anyone over that. Are you sure? Yeah, like I said, it wasn't a big deal. Okay, just don't take it personally, okay? Everyone here has their stories, know what I mean? I suppose I should know that better than anyone. And don't worry about people talking about you. I mean, they'll stop. Soon. Probably. Encouraging. Well, I couldn't complain. He was trying to cheer me up, and that was sweet. I'm sure they will. I rubbed my head and gave him another exhausted smile. I should go. The evil twin is probably already waiting impatiently for me. Oh, I have a club meeting I need to get to. I really hope you feel better. Have fun at your club. Okay, well, have fun at your club then. Maybe I should try to enter a club too. It's not really the sort of club you have fun at usually, but I'll try. It's the Secret Fairy Club. Oh boy. He waved and darted off down the hall toward the stairwell. What sort of club isn't meant for fun? I wondered if the office had a list of clubs I could register for. Of course, I'd have to coordinate with Spencer or get a ride from someone, so I might have to wait until I was a little more settled in. But it might be nice to get involved in something during my last year. At any rate, I made my way outside, keeping an eye out for Spencer as I went. I wasn't looking forward to the drive home at all, but this time I'd just stay quiet. I don't think I can handle another argument today. My nerves were already pretty frayed. I jogged across the front lawn toward the parking lot in spite of my head. If anything, Spencer complaining that I made him wait would just make my headache worse anyway. Oh, I should probably save. I immediately spotted the car, and it looked like Spencer was already waiting. Picked up the pace. When I got home, I was just going to go upstairs and immediately crash. And sleep. Wait, what is he doing? I was still at least 20 yards from him, so why was Spencer already backing out of the parking space? Does he not see me? I waved one arm as I ran, wondering if he thought I was getting a ride with Allie or something. I froze mid-wave as he pulled out of the space, looked right at me, and drove off. This boy? Look, he needs some fucking therapy, okay? Like, a lot of it. And, like, he needed it 5 years ago. Are you kidding me? I very nearly threw my backpack on the ground and had a tantrum right there in full view of everyone. Yanking my phone out, I sent him a flurry of angry texts. Oh, this is fancy! Hello, are you coming back to get me? What are you doing? You looked right at me. Hello, are you coming back to get me? Stop ignoring me! 10 minutes later, there was still no answer. I tried calling twice, but he didn't pick up. Tears of frustration stung my eyes as I clutched my backpack so hard the strap cut into my hand. He wasn't coming back. He just left me there while looking right at me. How could he do that? The parking lot was rapidly emptying, but I was not going to stand there and cry in front of everyone. Trembling with fury, I stormed away to find a place to calm down, think, and plot how I was going to murder my brother in his sleep. Oh man, this is it. I believe. He's gonna go into, like, the meeting where what's-his-face went. After I figured out how I was going to get home. I could text Mom, but she and Dad were both at work. Grandma and Grandpa would be busy too. I flopped down under a tree near the back corner of the parking lot. Molly said she had a club meeting, so I didn't think she could give me a ride unless I waited for her to finish. I didn't know anyone else well enough to ask. I bit my lower lip hard and looked up quickly, trying to blink away the tears before they spilled over. But there was no one nearby, and unless someone walked right past me, I didn't think I'd be easily seen. I finally gave in and buried my face in my knees, sobbing quietly, half from anger and half from sheer disappointment. Oh no, she's got little sad tears. The whole day had kind of sucked, and I felt stupid for being so glad to be back. Are you crying? Shoot, I looked up, hastily wiping at my face as I wondered who was crashing my little pity party. Alright, we've got the emo kid, the jock, now we've got this guy, the rich kid, the popular preppy guy. Who else do we have? I don't know. Why? Why is everyone in this thing? Why is everyone in this game a stereotype? Okay. Super tall guy in a leather jacket was standing nearby looking down at me. I hadn't even heard him walk up. I'm fine. He's got heterochromia, dude. Oh my god. I rubbed the back of my hand across my eyes, feeling pathetic. There's no way he'd believe I wasn't crying. Really? I nodded vigorously, but from his tone, it was obvious he knew it wasn't true. He scoffed. Whatever. Okay, wow. Whoa, what a guy. Oh, and of course he fucking drives a motorcycle. This game's gonna give me an aneurysm. Why did I play more? He turned away and walked to a motorcycle park nearby. Ugh, I can't believe someone caught me crying. How middle school of me. Dude, look, here's the thing. People cry in high school. That's a thing. I cry now. I watched him set the helmet on the seat and stow his backpack. I probably shouldn't have stared, but he was kind of rude, so I was going to stare all I wanted. If I was going to revert back to middle school with my behavior, I might as well take it all the way. He paused and glanced my way again. I watched him grab something and stalk it back over. He tossed something square and rectangular at me. I barely managed to catch it. Tissues. You're called Achu. That's pretty cute. But thanks. Oh, maybe he's actually a nice guy? He shrugged. Is there a reason you're sitting back here crying? Yes. Yes, there is. I glared up at him, daring him to try to pry further. He just looked sort of amused, but not at all intimidated. Yeah, no shit, he's wearing a fucking leather jacket and this, like, choker. He doesn't give a shit about you. I guess I couldn't blame him. How tall was he, anyway? I was going to strain my neck looking up at him. Thanks. For the tissues, I mean. Not for badgering me about crying. I wasn't badgering. I was asking. But it's not a problem. I'm Ewan, by the way. That was an interesting name. Ewan. I like they added the pronunciation. Nora. He just nodded and crouched next to me. I don't recognize you. I'm new, sort of. I used to live here a few years ago, but I just moved back. Ah, you're that girl. I gave him a questioning look, but he just shrugged. I heard some kids talking about a new girl. Something about some disappearances a few years back. Ugh, again. That's me. I see. Well, you look more normal than I expected. What's that supposed to mean? What the fuck do you mean? What's that supposed to mean? The stories circulating about you make you seem like a crazy person. Hey, I was just about to leave. Are you waiting for a ride? Do you need a lift or something? Oh, I don't. My brother ditched me, so I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to get home. I'll give you a ride if you don't mind riding a motorcycle. I haven't ridden one before. I'm not going to force you. I bit my lip. I shouldn't accept a ride from someone I didn't know, but at the same time, I didn't know if anyone else could come get me. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. You know what? I'll take you up on that. I live out in Ravensglade. He almost smiled, but not quite. I live there too. Yeah, fucking course he does. He stood and helped pull me to my feet. Dang, he was really tall. The top of my head barely reached his chin, and that was with heels. Of course this fucking girl wore heels to high school. I have an extra helmet you can use. Oh, why does this guy have a fucking extra helmet that he just carries around with him? Oh, thanks. Mom would definitely kill me if I showed up on the back of a motorcycle with no helmet. Then she'd probably kill you too. She hates making people feel left out. That elicited a smirk. I'll keep it in mind. Look, okay, this guy's like the most stereotype out of all of them, but I actually like him the most. He's the best one out of all of them so far. You know, goodbye to Elliot. Now friendship ended with Elliot. Now Ewan is my best friend. I watched him pull down 2 pegs on either side of the bike. I'm guessing my feet go there? His smirk grew wider as he tossed the helmet. You get an A+. That bit gets really hot, so don't touch it. Anything else? Hold on. Lean when I lean and try not to fall off. Simple and to the point. I like it. He climbed on the bike and patted the seat behind him as he put the helmet on. I climbed on carefully, mostly occupied with how I should hold on to him. That and wondering why his helmet got a cool visor thing, but my face was bared for all the bugs in the world to splat onto. You're behind him. You're not gonna get any bugs on you, dum-dum. I hoped he didn't mind being my bug shield, because I was definitely going to hide my face behind him. Hold on, we're going. Right. I placed my hands awkwardly on his hips, and he started the bike, and we were off. It was cold. It was already well into fall anyway, but it was so much colder on the back of a motorcycle. Fortunately, our neighborhood was fairly close to the school. I quickly found myself grateful he was so much bigger than me. In addition to shielding me from the bugs, he also blocked some of the wind. Not much, but I suspected it was colder sitting up front than behind. I just held on to him tightly and hoped the wind didn't permanently freeze my hands to his waist. That would have been awkward. 15 minutes and a short stop for specific directions later, and Ewan was pulling into my driveway. Spencer's car was there, but so was Dad's. By the time Ewan killed the engine, Dad was already on the front porch, eyes wide. I dismounted carefully, only narrowly avoiding falling on my butt. Nice dismount. I give it an 8.5 for style. I'm not going to tell you to shut up, but only because you were nice enough to give me a ride. Oof. Dad swept me into a bear hug that muffled the rest of that. Thank God, you weren't answering your phone. Well, I couldn't, really. Oh, this is Ewan, a classmate. He gave me a ride. Dad offered his hand, though he didn't look too happy about the motorcycle. Ewan took his helmet off, shook Dad's hand, and gave him a surprisingly polite nod. It's nice to meet you, sir. He had that bad boy— yeah, of course. He's got the bad boy look, but he's a nice boy on the inside. Wow. That hasn't been done a billion times before. He had that bad boy look about him, but I guess he wasn't actually that bad. It was kind of disappointing. Someone wearing that much leather really should have more attitude. Thank you for giving her a ride. I handed the helmet back to Ewan. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I'll treat you to coffee or something sometime. Don't worry about it. I guess I'll see you at school? He nodded and put his helmet back on, waving once as he started the bike. And with that, he was gone. Dad and I watched him in silence for a moment. You are so not treating him to coffee, ever. Oh god, here we go. Hey, he was nice enough to give me a ride. Speaking of which, tell my horrible brother he is grounded. For a month, at least. Come on, you look like you're freezing. I'll make you some hot chocolate. I snuggled into his side and we went in together. All in all, it wasn't a completely horrible ending to the day. Oh my, it's time. Finally, chapter 3. We've finished the exposition, and chapter 3 is where it actually starts. Do I have the strength to continue playing this game? I just want to know what happens so bad. But it's interspersed with so many bad things. Is it entertaining to watch me play bad games? I feel like it probably is. Maybe that's some of the draw of the Itch.io bundle, is that there's some bad games in it. Alright, I will do one more. On the off chance that it gets good here. Okay, one more. We shall see. It's been an hour, so I'm going to stop it here, but I think maybe it will get interesting here. I just want to see some fairies, dude. That's all I want. I probably already have, but dude, if they just look like normal people, I'm gonna be so pissed. I want to see the fucking fairies, okay? Show me the fucking fairies, and they better be horrific, because this is like some normie ass shit. I want to see some dark, gritty fairies. That's all I have. Thank you all for watching. If you made it through that, congratulations. Especially if you are not currently in high school, because I imagine that brought up some pretty painful, rough memories of what high school was like. So congratulations for you for making it through that. I know it was difficult for me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps me out. Lets me know that you like what I do. And I just appreciate it. It gives me the warm fuzzies inside. Yeah, this has been Changeling, Chapter 2, the one where we go to high school again. Oh boy. Anyway, Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. I'll miss you while I'm gone in the 5 minutes that it'll take me to stop recording this one and start recording another one. And I will see you next time. Bye.